I would say that Olivia is brilliant.
She's full of life. She's energetic. She doesn't let anything get her down.
She's brilliantly beautiful and brilliantly smart and brilliantly devious.
Sometimes she throws temper tantrums because sometimes she doesn't get her way or she's annoyed. It has to be Olivia's way or no way, practically.
I had enrolled the kids in a natural history study through Columbia University just to see what the likelihood of their predisposition was to diabetes and test for antibodies. And Olivia was positive for all of the antibodies.
And they called and said, you know, Sarah has no matching antigens in this genetic test, but Olivia matches every single one. Which, you know, obviously that means that there's a great likelihood that she will or does have diabetes.
She was pre-symptomatic. So probably within 2 months she would have shown some of the classic signs, extreme thirst or bedwetting, but she didn't exhibit any of those symptoms at the time when she was diagnosed.
So we went to Columbia and had the glucose tolerance test, and they said, yeah, she needs to start treatment right away.
Well, I had a panic attack. It was pretty disturbing. I didn't think that would happen. And I wasn't prepared for it, even though we'd been living with diabetes in our family life already.
I was diagnosed on my 6th birthday, so I've been about 38 years now. And for me, it happened in kind of what turned out to be a stereotypical manner. I had a strep infection, and then it led to other signs like dehydration and thirst and going to the bathroom all the time. And so they did a glucose tolerance test, and I had diabetes. Ironically, the fact that I have type 1 diabetes and Olivia has type 1 diabetes, we were part of the 5% of type 1 diabetics, Olivia is, who have a type 1 parent. 95% of people with type 1 diabetes do not have a type 1 parent. Type 1 is not a hereditary disease. So it's really the rest of the world who should be getting tested, not the diabetics, statistically.
I was pretty convinced she'd be fine, and the doctor said, no, you have to come in and learn how to use insulin and give her shots immediately. She was actually great about it, better than I was, because I was so nervous as a parent. I think that she just took it in stride and was not willing to have it hold her back or put her down in any way. I was nervous about testing her blood sugar the first time, and she just took the pricker out of my hand and did it for herself. And for the first probably 6 months, she did it entirely by herself. At 4 years old, she was really assertive about it and aggressive about managing her own diabetes. And she really, I think the fear of what it would feel like if I pricked her finger was more than just knowing when to anticipate it if she did it. She also took her shots by herself very young. She was diagnosed in December, and by March she was giving her own injections with syringes. They give you a teddy bear at the diabetes center that has patches in all the places that you can do a shot. Your thighs, back of your arms, your belly. And so she practiced for a while on her teddy bear, and then she started giving her own injections pretty early on. Typically, a lot of diabetics have more than one autoimmune illness, sometimes celiac disease as well. In Olivia's case, she has Hashimoto. So the first thing she does every morning is take Synthroid, which is a hormone replacement drug that needs to be taken on an empty stomach. And then she tests her blood, which she'll do probably 10 times throughout the day.
Oh, well, there's a little can of strips, and you put it in the meter. And you prick yourself, and it makes a little hole. And you squeeze it, and a little drop of blood comes out. You put it on the strip, and it counts down from 5, and then it says your blood sugar number. If you're high, which is usually over 120, then you have to correct, which is giving yourself extra insulin that you don't really need, but it's bringing your number down. If you're low, you need sugar to bring your number up.
She wears an insulin pump, so the reading automatically transmits to her insulin pump, and then she doses herself based on what the number is. An optimal range is 80 to 120. If she's above 120, she'll take a dose of insulin. If she's below that, she needs some sort of sugar source. So usually juice is the fastest acting sugar.
It's a whole new world. It's really amazing, and not just treatment-wise, but diagnostically. When I was first diagnosed, and for a significant portion of my young adulthood, the only kind of testing there was to test the blood in your urine. And the thing was with that was the test didn't tell you anything except that you had sugar in your urine. So there was no way to react to it as far as with your insulin dosage. Diabetes, I always kind of say that it's like a 18-wheeler truck driving around inside your body, running into stuff. The fluctuation in your blood sugar is this truck driving around inside your body, doing damage to all your organs and all your systems. With all the new treatment and diagnostic tools we have now, there's absolutely no reason for Olivia to have to suffer through any of the side effects that I have. She is smarter because she's better informed, which is a function of what the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation's been able to do, and modern medicine has been able to do and inform us better based on the data we have now from the last 30 years or so.
So the first year, Olivia was diagnosed in December, and the first year the walk was coming around. I didn't even know when it was. I had to look it up on the computer and find out when the date was, and it turned out it was around Labor Day weekend. It turned out it was coming up soon. And I thought, we should do this so that we can meet some other families and Olivia can see that she's not alone, that there is a whole community of children who have diabetes. And so I wrote a letter and told people we were doing this just to see if we could raise maybe $1,000. And that first year we raised like $15,000. It was unbelievable. It was pouring down rain and a huge group of people came out to walk with us. So the second year we were really gung-ho. We got our act together. We printed t-shirts and we made it a whole campaign to get the community involved, and almost 80 people came out that day to walk with us on our second year, and we raised a lot of money the second year too. So altogether, this will be our 6th walk, and we've raised a little over $100,000 in that time.
JDRF is really good that way in general because overall their organization donates like 84 to 86% of everything of all their income goes to research, which is really high, for any charity. It's one of the best ratios of income to donation that there is.
I feel like the walk sneaks up on us and then all of a sudden it's the holidays, and I always feel like I haven't adequately thanked everybody who's participated every year. I always feel so indebted to the people who show up every year, who participate, whether they can't give one year, whether they give $5 or $500. It's always amazing, and the show of support is really what it's about, because Olivia feels surrounded by people who are trying to solve this and cure this and help her achieve that goal.
You make it all happen. You make the whole thing possible. Without the donations and our friends and family, and all the teachers who show up and Olivia's friends and Sarah's friends, we wouldn't have it. And so thank you, thank you, thank you.
One time, this is a few years ago, Sarah said, "When do you think there'll be a cure for diabetes so I can get a little attention around here?"